now looking at a man that's fresh out of state prison after a decade. You're also looking at a man that's destined greatness never to come back. Take a walk.
10 toes down, never ran, never fold. Talking to the bros like we gotta break the mold. Then we gon' shine like that glitter and that gold. I still be checking if they following. DM cool, but I'm pulling up and hollering. Different clothes, why you think she pulling up and hollering? We had a long night, now she going back to modeling. Trying to make it out, watching everything I spend. Know that you could lose your life every time you bend. Just because he throw it up, that don't mean that he your friend. Back like I never left, fresh about that 10. Long days, cold nights, stuck up in the pen. He a rat, if he told once, he do it again. Shorty said she love you, Shorty know how to pretend. She just trying to survive, you a
So during your time in prison, did you study to become a professor, or did you really start taking it seriously after that test you took?
It really became serious after my incarceration. I was released. I think where the ice was broken after the election of Barack Obama, and I somehow started being led to certain books. And I had seen them the whole while, but my readings at that time wasn't focused more so on academia. It was more about a perception of who I was, because I had to start identifying who I was in the space, and those are the type of books I started being led to that started showing me myself through a different lens, and I had to see that because no matter what I would have did after that, without that foundation, like when the brother addressed you as kings, that's establishing the foundation. And that was another thing I wanted to share, because when I got my GED, I was there was a brother named Chin, and Chin was doing a 30-year bid, and Chin was a cat that we would call an OG, and I wanted to be Chin. I wanted to be Chin, and it was Chin who told me to get my young ass in school. And I was fucked up that Chin told me that, because I wanted to be Chin and shit didn't make sense. And I only got in school not cause I thought I was gonna get no damn GED. I got in school cause Chin said go to school, and the fucking G's we fuck when he said it, he wasn't saying it, he said it. It was already said. Next action is nigga do. And that's how I began that. But after those experiences, it was after I got released, and particularly after my first 2 semesters of college, that's when it really became serious, because I actually started believing that I was smart. I didn't really believe I was smart. You know how you can do shit, get a fluke. You know how you get that one shot, you just happen to hit that shot, but not Michael Jordan shot. Michael Jordan do that shit consistently. I started doing it consistent. Because you got to also remember, for up to that year, a time, about 40 years told me I wasn't shit. You follow me? So, as this was happening, I was being rebuilt, and my confidence in the way I perceived myself started shifting and changing. So it was after that, when I really began to engage in my academics and seeing it as a means to something, to the next level.
Appreciate that question, young king. Any other questions? Wilbur, talk to me.
About the GED part, you said you got your GED. Nowadays, people, like, what I hear about GEDs, it's just bad. Like, how many people want you to get your high school diploma, and, like, sometimes, it don't work out that way, So, was you at, like, a disadvantage because you got your GED? Or was it, like, did you feel a certain way because you had your GED? Did you feel like you couldn't go far in life because that high school diploma, like, instead of getting a GED, you got a
instead of getting an HSC, I got a GED?
Yeah.
Nah, let me say, I came from the gutter. I'm being honest with you. Yeah. I came from that place where one of the things outside of the 94 crime bill, hopefully if we can get into we could talk about that. Before that, when you used to kind of go try to get a little job and do what up, they used to have you ask you, do you have your high school diploma, your GED, and then you always have to mark, no, and that kind of shame that was tagged to it. Man, when I got my GED, I had felt like I got a college degree, like for real. Listen, for those people who make those whatever, then you ain't from where I'm from. You ain't hungry like I'm hungry. You don't know what it is not to have. So for me, that was just like, that earning my GED was like that first step that told me, oh shit, I got my GED. And I remember sitting at home to my mama like, everybody was proud, this boy got his GED. Like, so no, I didn't see that as a disadvantage. One for me, I didn't see it as no disadvantage. It was the fact that I had actually achieved that, man. And the thing for me was that I don't know how about y'all. I dropped out of high school, so a lot of my classmates had went on and went on to do this and all that. I didn't know what it was like to go to no prom. I didn't know what it was like to go to the dance. All that shit, that shit wasn't a part of my life. It just wasn't. But I'm gonna tell you, I longed for that. I longed to go to a fucking graduation, the this and that. I longed for it. So through the universe, man, I got a chance to not only live that moment 2 times over. Man, I got to, come on, man. You know what it is like to be you ever seen the movie where the dude is always like the bully, the outcast, and he's the geek and the nerd, and then in the end he end up being the one like, he the cool. That was my life, man, when they walked across that stage at the student of the year. Like, man, you got to understand that was like the universe healed me of all those things I didn't get a chance to feel. And I say that with that passion. Man, it's like the universe healed me in that one moment. Right now I'm considered the best of the fucking best, and I get to say that. I am considered the best of the best. I am a 6%er in my school. And I say that because I have worked with so many young men. I was telling Miss Jean, and she'll tell you now. I'll let her tell. When y'all was standing over there, I was just kept looking at y'all. Every one of y'all. I thought you was gonna. I said, damn, boy, I can see him getting drafted by the Miami Heat, because you can't play for nobody else. Fuck the Lakers. You got to play for the Heat. Yeah. I said, that dude, you're gonna be like a little mathematician, because I can just see the way you ask her. You're analytical. People that think I him, that's like a silent genius. That one right there, that red shit on his head. He's very observant. I have to. And don't think when I just said basketball, because also you got a brightness in your face and your eyes that you're intelligent. I'm gonna tell you what I did when I was used to come up. My foster mama used to always tell me I was smart. She made me read I could read good. Man, I got a hell of a reading. She used to make us read books. I hated her for making me read the fucking book. Then come back and have to tell her what I read without the book. But what she did was help develop my comprehension skills. I used to dummy myself down because of the shit I was going on around me. I would dummy myself down to fit in, man. I dumb it myself down. I will understand words, act like I didn't understand them because nobody else understands. I understand them because nobody else understands them. Ain't that some shit? I could read, listen. And it was chin. I'm gonna go back to G. Cause every day in prison they give you work assignments. Make your ass work, in other words. I'm saying it like you get a job offer, like you don't get a job. They make you work, or you go to the box for refusing to work. And I worked in something called a boiler room. And every day I used to come in there because my love for reading. Now in prison you can just read to read. They don't care. Because it's just like you read just to pass time. But I'm keen on politics. I love politics. I love political drama. I love anything. I can read a whole new. And I will come in with my fucking USA Today talking to Chin, and I had to say USA Today because how would it be 20 years later? I would have 5 articles in the fucking USA Today with my name on it, penned by. I'm talking some gangster shit. I get talk gangster shit in a nice way to the motherfucker. I do. I'm being honest with you. I be cussing their ass out in a nice way though. I play some games with that, and I would go in and Chin. That's when they told me to get in school. I would come in every day talking about, yeah, these, Can you see what the 94 crime bill is actually doing in real time when you think about the community? And one day he looked at me just like he looked at me and said, man, you can get your young ass to school. Just like that. You know how you think? And I thought it was a conversation. You know, you first think it's a conversation. Then that nigga look at you, and you just looked at me like, nah, nigga, this ain't a conversation. Like, nigga, I want to see you tomorrow. He was like, nigga, I want to see you in no boiler room tomorrow. So you know when I already know the look. You know, we know. When the G talk with his eyes. He ain't doing too much with lips. Shit, to tell you some shit, it is what it is. Because you know it because you respect him. It's out of G shit. You got to understand G shit. So, no. And I said all that to say, no, there was no discrepancy for me or with me in regards to that. None. Cause we come from the place of soul food. I'm gonna make something out of nothing. I got that kind of grind in me. I come from that line of people. I tell you about soul food and where that come from. They commercialize it now. But something out of nothing, what Tupac was talking about when he was talking about his mama, and every Thanksgiving, mama made something out of nothing. I came from that. Made something out of nothing. So that's bread in us. We're gonna survive. All right.
So
Next
also, I want to touch on that because you asked. You could get a GED and move on to college. You could get a GED and then go to an Ivy League college if that's what you want to do. So don't be fooled or don't let anybody tell you that just because you get a GED or you have a GED or you earn
your GED,
you can't do the things that other people can do with a high school diploma.
And I'm saying that because I got a GED in Gainesville Correctional Institution.
And now you're the best of the best.
And I'm the best of the best.
There you go.
I get to say that shit for real. I feel like the Michael Jordan of academics, the fucking Jay-Z of academics.
There you go. Absolutely. Next question.
So
introduce yourself.
Alex, Trapland. But through this whole conversation, I see you use like a lot of music references or whatnot, and also talk about like social, environmental, and
conditioning,
society factors that affect like our conditioning. So like right now, I want to more like a recent conversation. What's going on now? They're saying like a lot of death and violence in the city is due to like drill music. So do you think like it's like violent music? Do you think it's a correlation, like being like your statistics and Rich, you do music or whatnot? Do you think that that's a direct correlation? Because it's a mixed conversation. Some people are saying it is a correlation. Some people are saying it's not a correlation. What do you think from both a statistical point of view, and I know you do music as well. What do you guys think about that?
I think music is cultural.
And actually, not even only just music, movies, everything. You spoke about all of that.
Yeah. All that is cultural. Because if that's the case, then we might as well get rid of Scarface, Terminator, any other movie that you've seen that they got a gun in when people shoot. We need to get rid of all of that. We not get rid of the rock and roll music because the only time that I've determined and seen through my research that is any criticism of the music that our people listen to is when somehow they want to blame it. And I want to share with you, that's not the first time they did that. They did that back with Bob Dole when they was out to Tupac and for the music that was playing. Then they wanted to say it was Dr. Dre. And as time went on, at each juncture, there was this place to want to blame the what we saw in our communities on music. However, they talked about the poverty. We want to disconnect the poverty from something that's historical because that has always been an impediment to crime within our communities. And secondly, if they really want to get in that conversation, want to place blame on any of our black artists, then we're going to have to go back to a whole nother place where this started long before black artists when they mimicked. Remember I told you like a lot of the artists that they have now where they want to mimic us. That's where your Elvis Presley. I'm gonna give y'all history. Elvis Presley didn't get his shit from cause he was they mimicked that from black, put it in Elvis Presley. But however, when the same thing was going on with blacks with the same music, you know what they used to refer to? Oh, that's that monkey music. If y'all want to get, I give you the history of it. So no, I don't blame our artists, because then what you're trying to do is take away their artistic skill and then want to demonize it, which you've already done before. So that's just my take on that.
Should take.
Music is art. It's a form of expression. At times that expression is a reflection of the things that we go through, we experience, and that's our only way to let it out. I used to be in prison, and I remember this one time I was on the phone. You know when you get on that phone, and I was talking to my son's mother, and I ended up talking to my son, and he just like, yo, Dad, like, it was Father's Day. Everybody in the class made Father's Day cards. And he came home and he was just crying. He didn't want to talk to anybody. He was like, Dad, you're not here for me to give you this card. He said, all the other dads are here, and I can't, and all the other kids giving their fathers the card, and I can't give you this card. He was young then, right? And I got on the phone with her, and that broke me down, twisted me. And I got on the phone with her, and she was just expressing and elaborating on, you know, like what they were going to do, what he was going to do. And that twisted me. Like, you know, you can't cry. You can't cry like I'm in the jungle. I'm with the gladiators.
That's right.
We gladiating. So I go back, and I'm in a double bunk cell, 5 points, maximum penitentiary. So I'm going in a cell with somebody else. And I went in the cell, and I pulled out the pen, and I pulled out that pad, and I wrote about it. I wrote a song, and that's how I released it. So I say that to say, like, music is a form of expression. And like he said, if you're gonna demonize and criminalize individuals for making music, for taking their frustrations out in a recording studio, opposed to taking their frustrations out on the street, then you got, well, first and foremost, you out of line. But then you have to do the same thing when it comes to these movies. Scarface, all these, not even Scarface, all these crazy action movies, like, you have to do the same thing, right? And if you're not gonna do that, then you know that's a double standard, right? And also, if I'm not mistaken, Jay-Z, Meek Mill, and a few other individuals right now are challenging that in court, and they're trying to eliminate the court's ability to use rap lyrics against us, right? Because we see so many different artists go to jail, create a career from their artistry, and then have that same career be used against them to put them back in the penitentiary, put them back in the space where they finally was out of, right? Making it out the hood, making it out the gutter. So, you know, we know a lot of artists that went through that. Bobby Smurda, Rod Diggs right now, but the list goes on. But that's my answer to that.
Now, can I give you guys some pushback real fast?
Sure.
Do you guys believe in manifestation?
Yes.
You believe in manifestation?
Absolutely.
So if you're like on the track and you're constantly talking about killing somebody, drilling somebody, robbery this, do that, if you believe in manifestation, you don't think eventually, if that's constantly playing over your head, kids are constantly hearing that. Not talking about the artists, the kids that are hearing it. They're constantly hearing that. You don't think that that's going to seep into them eventually and make them want to try it and get curious and stuff like that, like in terms of that way to manipulate them in a sense?
I would push back to say to you, don't we say that with what's that game they got, Call of Duty? Don't we say that when we see the shows where they killing? Don't we say that? So I think that what's problematic for me is that, particularly when I hear this from the far, and I'm gonna say this, most of you guys might not know this. This is the concept I hear from the far right, and the far righters like GOP members or legislators who do that. However, if we're going to say that, if we're gonna say that, I'm gonna say then, well, what about your Terminator? What about every show that come on, you see somebody getting killed? What are you gonna say about some of the goddamn cartoons now, like this? Like, what do you say about? So if and as the brother said, what I would say, if that was the case, then we should be taking that same approach with every genre of artistry that takes place that depicts violence. If we want to isolate black artists or trio music or et cetera, so we're going to have to wipe out all those, because all that still isn't played in as well. So I'm not saying that in regards just to that genre. What I am saying, if that's the position of individual anyone's going to take, then we need to go revamp all these cartoons with the heads getting shot off, the call to do this, the this, da. If we're going to isolate black artists and their music and their creative artistry in order to do that. That's what I agree. And that's the only way. If they do that, then I say, oh, yep, you're right. We're going to have to take all this stuff out.
I like that.
Next question.
So you don't think that's a direct correlation from the music?
No.
Not at all?
No, I think that we are influenced more so by the social conditioning that's hid behind the music. And this was the same thing that happened with Tupac Shakur. When Pac was talking about the conditions, and one of his interviews, he said, we're just talking about, our children already know what we're talking about in the music. The only thing they're doing in that moment is identifying with what's taking place. I understand what you're saying, and it's always been my thing to say, if we're going to say that, if we are truly going to go with that line of, then we're going to have to look at every piece of music, movie, and everything that ever promoted violence.
Yeah, I believe that, but I don't think that we should take from the fact that that's what's happening, because of the things that they are saying in these rap songs and stuff are direct correlations of the reason why certain people are being killed. And you're talking about, because they feel they're being disrespected. If you're talking about, because what they say is they smoking on whoever got killed. Somebody that got killed, they making them a pact. So they smoking on whoever died. So because they disrespected them, now they feel like they gotta go back and they gotta do some work.
But isn't that
so
what
that's a direct correlation.
Right, but isn't that what the Terminator did when he came back to hit the dude?
Yeah, it absolutely is. But we can't take away from the fact that that's happening.
Right.
We can't. I feel like
I'm not taking away from it, but what I want to know is why do, after 350 years of black men being hung from trees, after 350 years, 150 years of Jim Crow and lynchings, after 50 years since the civil rights in 1965 that was signed by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. that said we had equity and equality in this space called the United States of America. After countless discrimination against African Americans within the music as well as the Hollywood industry. Why is it when the same violence that has been perpetuated all this time, and remember, forget, this started with, and the reason I'm saying it, this started before the trill music we're talking about today, because that's when they was talking about what Uncle Luke, they wanted to ban Uncle Luke for his raunchy music in his language, that you're making the kids do this. That was back in the 80s. Come back to the 90s. Oh, Tupac Shakur is encouraging violence and gang violence. That's when they wanted to shut down all the music out in LA, and when we were talking about that. Now, here we are today, 2022, we have something called trill music. And fundamentally, believe it or not, it's the same conversation where we want to find something to say that this is responsible for this happening. However, I would have to always counter and say that the music we're talking about, even if it's trill music, hasn't even been existing no more than 5 years, really.
if you really stop to think about it. And for the accountability of the harm we've seen in our black and brown communities, it's no way 5 years, spans of music, can be responsible for the overall conditionings and issues that is expressed. That anger. Tashashi Coates got a book called Between. Yeah, I'm talking to touch this now. No, Tashashi Coates got a book called Between the World and Me. And when you read Between the World and Me, he is describing the psychological impact of what racism, poverty, hatred has done to us. We don't even know it. We're almost like a guinea pig in this thing called racism. And in his book, he describes that when I look at you, that I am trying to kill the black hatred that I have in me by killing you. I'm trying to kill the ugly side of me by killing you. You ever notice some of the things that we engage with before you push, every derogatory? And I'm going to give you another. Although right now we say kings, and that's a representation of our heritage and who we are. However, before that, in the 60s, they started saying, I'm black and I'm proud. Black is beautiful. We are, because the stereotypes and the societal messaging was black was ugly, black was this, black was that. Everything bad, we was black, that was us. And we internalized that hatred.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
At what point do we take accountability for our own actions?
I think we're doing it right now.
Right here.
Right here. Right here, right now. Your presence in here right now with these young men is us taking accountability for our young men right now. Miss Gina being here is taking accountability right now. I said something, Miss Gina, and I feel you more than you know, because it almost want to bring tears to my eyes that we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The number of young men that we got when we look at the number of young men that are stuck in the juvenile justice systems in jails around this country. When they didn't want to let individuals like you, me, our brother here to engage with them, but however they engage with them. So we are taking accountability now, and we build on that accountability by helping support that. We are in that accountability now. And one last thing I want to say, remember, oh my God, remember, this is a 300-year cancer that they're expecting us, that is the kind of, you know how this is a 300-year cancer. We see it right now. Our young men know what it is to be black. They know what it is to be shot. They know what it is for police brutality. They already, imagine what they're dealing with. I can't trust my own black people. I can't trust the white man people. I can't trust the sister. I can't trust my mom. I can't trust my dad. It's me against the world. Imagine what they weighing. I mean, we haven't began to really fathom. We as adults, we can kind of process this shit. I'm a professor. I've researched some stuff even in here, and I'm still sick in my mind, because I can be in some spaces and one of the folks will say something to me, and I get, and I have to catch myself. Because you think you know me. But see, I have to do this here. I don't let you play me out of pocket, because I already know how this game is set. You think I'm a leading black professor at one of the most prestigious institutions in the world? Do you not think the day I decide to lose my fucking mind and be like, see there? Do you know why Barack Obama was under the screening? They needed him to do something wrong, to solidify that, see, we told you. They needed him to do something wrong. Needed it. They got so deep, they said he had on a khaki suit, and you wasn't supposed to. You remember the day he wore the khaki suit? How the hell did a khaki suit become the centerpiece of a black man being president of the United States? You heard about his suit, and this dude is a Harvard graduate. And you still refer to him as a monkey-eating watermelon. Did anybody else stop and think about how they, like, the one hope that inspired in America and the world, they still refer to him as. Jay-Z got a song out, and boy, I love this song because it helps me still nigga. That's how this society
will continue to operate and engage. But it's not a matter of how they choose to move. It's going to be a matter of how you choose to move. The only way you are defeated in this world is by believing what the white man refers to as a nigger. Once you do that, I don't need this motherfucker to tell you a nigga no more. You're going to tell yourself you're a nigga. I don't need to tell you a nigga no more. You tell yourself you're a nigga and everything that comes with it. I promise you that. Ask me how I know. I did 19 years. They changed the name from nigga. We still say my nigga, but then we say thug nigga. What scares me is that somehow they think that our young black men and women and communities don't see the demoralization that's taking place right before. Like they don't know that they more likely to get shot by a motherfucking police than some other. Like look, I'm a black man, I'm a professor. Do you know I get nervous if them boys I still get nervous.
When you get pulled over?
What?
As a professor at one of the most prestigious colleges in the world.
I be walking to the campus when I'm on the campus and campus security come and they slow their cars. I wish I had do I got it with me? No, I didn't got it. I think I had it. I do. It's like this is the kryptonite for their ass. Motherfucker. Get back, motherfucker. Get back. Get back.
Can I ask you something? Can you expound on something you spoke about earlier? You were talking. You said that we're just existing, we're not living.
Yeah.
Can you expound on that real fast? You didn't really get into detail on it because I talk about that with like my friends a lot, but I feel like you really need to know about it because that's really game what you just said. Like that's something that we don't realize. And you also said that we don't have the luxury to think, the time to think. Like everyone's life is moving so fast. You got bills here, you got this, you got your friend.
But some of us, we're not paying. A lot of us, when I say we exist, is that we're just in a space where we're not partaking in what's taking place around us. We're not, and much as we may not, we call it, oh, that pussy ass shit, that fuck ass, the little shit we say even as adults. When we talk about the voting, when we talk about engagement in the community, we think we see it. But the reason we feel that is because that disconnect has been ingrained in us that we're not a part of this. But have you ever stopped and wondered just for the hell of it, wait a minute, if the voting shit don't matter and it's just pussy ass shit like they say and we say it is, then why the fuck were these people always fighting to stop us from, have that ever just dawned on anybody like, wait a minute, if you fight for something, you got to be fighting for a reason, because I ain't going to be fighting to get it somewhere, it ain't nothing there, I'm going to run up in the bank and ain't no money in there. I don't get down like that, it got to be some loot there. So why would they fight so hard to keep you from having something if it was nothing there? That's called a mind fuck. That's playing chess. But we don't see it that way because I'm gonna tell you how it happened. We internalize that. You remember what I told you about the internalization? Once I start believing it don't matter, then I don't even give a fuck then. I ain't fuck that dumb ass shit because we just internalize it don't matter. And the more they can make us continue to believe it don't matter, the more we don't engage. So we exist. We exist. Me, I existed in my children's life. When I got out of prison, I had seen my sons for 19 years, 20 plus years. I met my son, when I saw my son last time, one of my sons was 3, the other one was 6. Next time my son saw me, one of them was 23, the other one was 26. Existed. No engagement. Watch this. How many of us ever played catch with our dad and we're gonna go hold hands and dad? Everybody just put their hand, dad, come on dad, and dad is gonna hold us and spin us around and we're gonna go play catch and fall and hey, and then I run, hey dad, and I jump in dad's arm. I know I can't be talking to him. That's what the rest of the world ain't. A mom and dad take me to school in the car and okay, Terrence, have a good day. I love you. All right, mom, see you when you get back from school. All right.
I wish I had that.
Oh no, okay, you're right. Well, we're just gonna go out camping and we're gonna have the fire and we're gonna have some s'mores and sit around and we're gonna sing Christmas carols. Don't we see it on TV? I know, I see it. Don't you see got my own room and mom come, all right, you're gonna be on punishment now. Mom, can I just have one cookie?
Sorry.
That's real.
Anybody feel me now?
You know what's crazy though about that? It's like we don't emulate that right there, that with the family, but we'll emulate the drilling stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy to me. Like
why? Because it's more. When I talk about cultural and environmental influence, it's because it's, you know. Let me tell you the heroes I grew up with. Until this thing with Barack Obama, I grew up with Trey-Dem, I grew up with Raymond, I grew up with Blight. You know why? Because I saw them every day. And they gave me that. What's up, little man? Who you think I'm a... As much as our young men who are here right now don't even understand the physiological aspect of what's going on in their lives right now, they don't even know that their brains are right now still developing. You know, we just kind of like, oh, that's some pussy ass crazy. No, it's not. It's the reality. Right now, your brains are still, that's why they have laws right now that say a juvenile cannot be convicted of a certain crime because his brain is not full. And we make that, I'm a grown ass man, however, that's why you can, I just said, you know, thugging after 30. That's why you can have a 40-year-old man still acting like, or dressing like he a 20-year-old dude, because his brain has not maturated. It hasn't developed. Particularly when you go to prison, they say it's stopped because you're living in a stagnant society. It's nothing to spark the growth of it. So that's when I got out of prison, when I was talking to y'all about when I went to the place that ain't no thugging after 30. I'm walking down the halls of the dope fund, and I got on, I don't know if y'all remember this, I don't wear this shit no more. I had on some Air Force Ones, I had on me some fucking, the baggy jeans, I had on the white tee, I had 2 earrings. It was Professor Coffie now. 39, going on 40 years old. And I'm walking down the hall, and here come a little jit, half my age, got on the same shit I got on. He ain't got on the same shit I got on. What's wrong with that question? What's the real question? I got on the same shit. And I went to one of my partners who was a man I kind of admired, and I said that to him because a young lady had said something to me about pulling my pants up. I ain't knocking them, because I think for every generation, y'all, that's y'all thing. So when people ask me, do I knock out young black men? Well, nah, I don't. I care more about if you in a space like that with your pants sagging. I'm cool. I just know that's your thing for your generation. We had ours in period where people used to wear the afros, and then another thing came, and our mamas was mad at us like this. The earring, my mom would have killed me. I had earrings. For y'all, shit, earring, that's it. Every generation got its own thing. Every generation. So that's why I'm not. Because whatever the cultural fad is for that generation, that's the cultural fad. However, your cultural fad don't stop you from achieving. That's why I love cats like AI, Mike Tyson. We can still be the best at who we are, but we still who we are. I was sharing with the brother today, people, the brother there when I came here, I can tell you that I was asked, why do I continue to do this work on behalf of black and brown communities when I have such vast opportunities to. Fuck you. What you mean? Now I'm really cursing, ain't it, y'all? Y'all couldn't say one curse word, now she's just coming at me. For me, that's like what my daddy did to me when they walked out. When I told you I saw my sons after 20-some years existing in their life. No engagement. That's existing. That's just you're here. No engagement in nothing outside of the square, the radius in which we live, also the radius in which I walk that yard. No engagement without no engagement. That's mean we breathe in, we breathe out air, and that's why Allah said I'm living to die. Like nothing in between, just living to die. And I broke out of that because I believed in that shit. I'm telling you, I'm that cat. I'm gonna tell you the glory days. I'm gonna tell you how I thought I was gonna die. I was gonna have on that same white tee with my fucking. I was gonna be on the block. Cause if I'm gonna leave this motherfucker, I'm gonna leave like a Jeep. I wanted the car to come by, and all I was gonna hear, doo 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 doo. I was gonna be like Scarface. I was gonna see the bullets hit me. You know how the shit turn red? Cause I was gonna die standing up. I didn't know what fuck. I didn't know what come after that, man. I did not know what come after the life. There was existing. That's why engagement is so important. That's why this is so important. We got to get our young black men who we're right now, that we're taking that active role in their life to get that. We got to. I'm going to tell you, man, listen. The numbers is the numbers. The trap is the trap. It is what it is. And I swear to God, I wish I could pray to God so they just change the shit, man. But we are the change in it. We are the change. And I swear, each and every one of y'all, I pray that after this evening, man, that you dare to live. I don't care if you think it's square, pussy ass shit, whatever. That's living. That's living. I swear to God, whatever that dream in you, I already know you think about some shit you wish you could do that, you know, like when I had to hit you in the chest when you was talking about, oh, dad and da. That shit seemed foreign to us, even though I just said something that's perfectly normal. I just said something that's perfectly normal to everybody in here, and every one of us, even me and my man up here, looked at that shit. What the fuck is that? Fuck you. That shit like, what the fuck is that? Like that's some alien shit. Think about it. Why did something just as normal as mom hugging me and playing and all of that normal, it seems so foreign to us? We don't even like that feeling because that shit gives us an uncomfortable feeling. That's what I'm talking about. What the fuck is wrong with the population where we in this space that this society has impacted our communities, our young black men across this country, where we can talk about something that's normal as a father hugging his son, holding his hand, walking him to, it just like blows our mind. But yet still we'll see it happen every day in front of our eyes for other people. Now, I told my sons this when I came back in their lives. I would never be out their life again. Period. My son, see how your hair is? My son, he got wicks. I guess he be doing this stuff here, like his hair is, it was longer. And he be doing this here. I know something wrong with the boy. He be doing this here. Maybe, that. Damn, boy. And my son will lay down when I'm with him, and we're back, and he's in North Carolina. My son will allow me to play in this album. Like, how he doing? I play in my son's house. His wife and my wife, they'll just look like, they say, just give them their moment. Remember I told you how the years when I walked across that stage, like the universe give me that moment to like heal me, like heal him and heal us, because the shit that and that shit still make me uncomfortable. I seen when Jit was like, what the fuck is that? Motherfucker playing in my house. You know what fuck you going on that you playing in my house? Nah, that's my son. That's my son. What you mean it's so weird for me to play with my son? My son. My granddaughter comes behind me and she called me the crystal ball man. Grandpa. I have to go put on this little hat. Cause I'm giving, you gotta peep me. I'm giving to them what wasn't given to me. Cause remember, I grew up in the gutter for real. I'm a foster child. I don't know what my mama looked like. I don't know what my mama smelled like. I don't know what my dad, I don't know none of that. I don't know none of that. If you got your moms and your people you can count, I don't have that. The last time I saw my mama, she was chasing behind a car with her head bust because the folks from the foster home came and got us. And the last time I saw her, they was putting her in a casket. And I just got to see the casket because they said her body was so deteriorated, they couldn't even have an open casket. I live that. So, when I go, my granddaughter has a way of making me play tea time, where I have to put on this little tea hat with all her damn Barbie dolls I done bought, and we got to sit with Ken, and we got tea, and I got the little thing on my head, and I'm playing tea, and I got to have tea. What you think that do for her? You see the normality I'm putting back for her? So she don't have the gap that made me, all of us in here, felt uncomfortable when we said the exact same thing. That's living. Existing is what I would have passed on. This is what we talk about, that generation. I'm gonna just give you a song. Y'all probably don't know this song, but it's back from back in. Papa was a rolling stone.
Where he lived his life.
Was his home. That's why you can find the one man when we live that shit, got 5 baby mamas. Remember we thought that shit called nigga got 5 baby mamas. You don't hear that? But think about the disconnect was happening to you because of the 5 baby mamas, you was one of the babies. That shit ain't so hard then. I was one of the babies that he was, I was just one, Papa was a rolling stone. That's just my baby dad. That's the story behind that's just my baby dad. If we're gonna bop to it, let's understand what we bopping to. Understand who left behind. Because Professor Coffie was Papa was a rolling stone. That's why I got 3 baby mamas from 3 different women. Same thing my dad did, I did. So one generation to the next. So for me, I'm living and I'm engaged today. Because I'd be damned if my granddaughter or my son will ever have to exist. How the fuck they gonna exist in the world that I'm living? Who does that? How you gonna live and your peoples exist? So you gotta learn, you gotta wanna live. Past the moment, past the pain, you got to. Or you'll be a rolling stone. I promise you. I'm just giving you the facts, so you won't have to be disillusioned. This is what this is about, right? I'm giving you the facts, so you won't even be disillusioned. How this shit gonna go down? It's the rules to the game, but we teach you how to play the game. That's what this is. You gotta think, you gotta look past the matrix. You are the matrix. You got to look past what you think you're supposed to be and see what you got. That's the matrix. That's who you think you are. It's the illusion. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. And if you don't realize who you think you are in this moment, it's not an illusion. You're gonna be caught up with the illusion. You caught in the matrix. I'm telling you what it is. If you got any rap star, gang, everything my man was talking about, yeah, man, that's the illusion. That's the matrix. You're trying to be somebody that you're not. That's a Lil Wayne is Lil Wayne by Lil Wayne fucking self. Lil Wayne is Lil Wayne. I love Lil Wayne. I love Lil Wayne music. But Lil Wayne is Lil Wayne. Don't get caught up in the matrix of yourself. I'll stop there.
No, absolutely, man. Shout out to Alex from Trapland TV, Trapland Media. Appreciate your question and your insight. So before we end this perspective segment, Miss Gina, do you have any questions?
Thank you for, I feel honored to have share my space, to share this space with you. I want to respond to this young man with the GED because I quit school when I was a teenager. Grew up in the South Bronx. Parents brought me to a white neighborhood, but they didn't want me there. So the fights every day, fighting, dealing with. When I was a teenager, no boys liked me because I was Puerto Rican. They only went out with, their own. Feeling like the outsider, I finally quit school. Got into a whole mess, but that's another story. Went down the wrong path, and finally when I got some sense in my head, because I got sick and tired of being sick and tired of living the way I was living, I took my GED and I scored really high. And when I got my score back, they were telling me that my GED was high enough for me to go to a 4-year college. I still didn't understand what that meant, but I was so proud of myself. So when you were saying, like, I felt like I hit the lottery, because I never thought that I was that smart, because I believed the stuff that was put in me from living in that neighborhood. And I ingested it. So I share a lot of your truths and powerful, but he has children from different women because it's generational. And listening to you, I know that it came from slavery because black men bred, they were breeded like animals, right? So you get the strongest male in the tribe to breed with one of the strongest females, and you breed them so you can have strong children to farm, to do the work. So yeah, so just a lot of insight. I hope that you meet again with him. I pray and hope that you listen to him and really follow, the guidelines, because these are guidelines to live so you don't exist. That was powerful. I never heard that before. That hit me deep, man. And then also what you said about the black, because I hate the black in me, I want to kill the black in you because I'm killing me. When I kill you, I'm killing me. But consciously don't know it. And that's another powerful thing, because I'm constantly talking to our children of color, especially our boys. And it's hard to get them there. So, you have $1 million right here in front of you. You guys hit the jackpot. So just like really listen, and Rich is a powerful young man, and I'm really proud of him to be a colleague of his. And we share a lot, talk about a lot of things, and you guys are really, you're millionaires right now. People think that millionaire is money, but that's not. When you have $1 million in your heart and you come to the light hits you and you get that switch in your brain, that's like, oh my God, I'm better than this. That's when you become a millionaire. So hang out with millionaires and you learn to become a millionaire. That's all I got to say. Thank you so much for inviting me.
No, thank you for coming. We honored to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Talking more again.
Same here.
So thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely. And to touch on what you said, and to touch on what the brother said earlier, when you mentioned being rich and mentioned being millionaires, like that's the name of the brand that you see in the back, So Rich. And the way it came about is because a lot of times when we think about being rich, we think about money, right? And we live in a world where we have to survive. So yes, get your money, but while you in the pursuit of your finances, don't forget that we are rich. We are so rich in so many other areas. So rich in community, so rich in love, so rich in family, so rich in understanding, right? But in the same ways in which we are rich, we could also be poor in these areas. I heard somebody say that, yo, this dude is so poor, all he got is money. Right? Because that's his only focus, where he or she is not even building in these other areas. Right? So the young king had his hand up.
Yeah, I just had something to say. Adding on to what she has said.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, adding on to what she had just said, like I heard this like a couple of times. Like, if you gotta be in a room full of smart people, because if you're the smartest one in the room, you got nothing to learn. If you're in a room with smarter people, you're learning from them.
Yes, that's true.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Henry Ford, when you think of Ford Motors, cars, you can say Henry Ford name and people know, the car, the billions, but he was the one who said this. He said, I am not the brightest man in the world. However, I know how to surround myself with bright people. Always know to be that person to surround yourself
The right people.
with bright people.
Bright people.
That's your circle. You do that. And you just won $1 million if you do that. Always know who is in your circle. Ain't nobody in your life by accident. Ain't nothing. Nothing. There's no connection in my life without purpose and reason. Period. Ain't got no fly-by friend, none of that. That we don't even get down like that. I don't even live like that. They in your life, they serve a purpose. Kick the bobo with my man here. We're gonna kick the bobo on a whole nother level. Cause we're gonna kick the bobo and be moving things. We ain't just gonna be sitting on the goddamn crate. Fuck that to that. Don't live like that. Don't ever live like that. Purpose and reason. Reason and purpose. Whatever you do, whatever piece you move, it's being moved for a reason. If not, stay still till you move.
Shout out to Big Herc 916. Shout out to Big Ant. This is fresh out East Coast. Blessed to collab with S.T.R.O.N.G Youth. I am so rich. This is the end of our perspective segment. Shout out to the people. Shout out to the people. This is Fresh Out. Yo, we had an amazing interview. Thank you, Professor Coffie, for coming through and blessing us with your wisdom and your experience. Thank you to the young kings, not even in the audience, but in the circle, right? For listening, for building with us, for your questions, for your analysis. Thank you to S.T.R.O.N.G Youth for allowing the young kings to come build with us. Thank you to Ms. Gina. Thank you to Press Play Event Lounge in Boulder, New York, who gave us this space to host this interview because they believe in brothers like Professor Coffie. They believe in the young brothers right here sitting in the audience, and they believe in our mission, what we doing here today. Thank you to Freak Genius TV, the man who is not always seen, who's almost never seen, but without him things couldn't happen. This is our main, one of my partners and our main camera crew for Fresh Out on the East Coast in conjunction with Prince 516 Films. Professor Coffie, we had an amazing interview. You really brought a lot out of the young kings. You inspire all of us, myself included. Please leave us with some last words. Anything. I'm gonna let you pick it. But leave us with some closing words. And also, please tell us about everything that you have going on. Because me and you speak either on the phone or over the text. I know you got a lot of things coming up. The floor is here. The floor is yours.
I want to thank you, Rich, for having me here. I want to thank Fresh Out. I want to thank the providers of this space for having provided this for us to have this interview. I think that in my part, in closing, for your audiences that may hear this here in New York as well as on the West Coast, particularly to my young kings and brothers across this country, I'm going to leave with a quote by James Baldwin from a book called Fight It Next Time. And
It's the gist of my life. It's what I believe are the rudiments of your life, where you're at in the moment, where you may see yourself. We can only be defeated by believing what the white man has called or referred to us as a nigger. You have to see past the imagery or the matrix, as we talked about tonight, and see the beauty of yourself. You have to see the beauty of yourself and embrace the word beauty and know you're beautiful. Know that, as Rich said, fact is, we are roses that grow from concrete. Concrete don't stop you from growing. Actually, what it means is that we defy the odds. And I want to leave you with that. As Rich said, you can follow me on my social media handle at Educate Don't Incarcerate on YouTube. Also, you can follow me on Spotify on It's Coffee Time. I have a weekly show which I share on a lot of political and social justice issues, as well as Fet Life Station. And coming up, starting actually at the end of this month, we have a new broadcast that we're pushing out. It's called the Social Justice Network, and it brings together a lot of formerly incarcerated men and women on various platforms to share the work that we're doing, our experiences, as well as our position and the things that we like to introduce to effectuate change. So please follow me. Please join us. Continue to support this work here at Fresh Out. I think it's a tremendous what's happening here, and I think that, as I said earlier, this is an example of what we can do to create change. My brother said earlier about accountability. I want to thank you and your people for taking accountability with these young men in here tonight. And I don't say that lightly, and I mean that because I'm looking at you, but for them, you're my chin that I knew years ago when I had nobody to look up to behind those prison walls. And thank God they're able to see you on this side, being who you are and what you're doing. So thank you. It's truly been an honor for me to be here. Thank you to the Fresh Out family. And like I said, I'm saying this on camera, I want me one of these hats. To the West Coast and East Coast family, I want me one of them hats. I will be rocking. But thank you for allowing me to be here.
Thank you for coming, man. Follow us at Fresh Out Series, Instagram. Follow S.T.R.O.N.G Youth Allies at S.T.R.O.N.G Youth Allies. That's the Instagram page to see more of the tremendous work that we are doing, that they are doing in the communities across Long Island, from Nassau to Suffolk. Follow me on Instagram at SoRichTV. Thank you to one of our biggest supporters, Trapland TV. Follow Trapland at Everybody Eats Trapland. We got some really good work coming out for all you sneakerheads and everybody that loves to get fly. What's in your closet? Go check that out. For all you artists, I know I'm an artist, man. You know, I do the interview thing, but I'm also an artist. For all you artists that want to highlight and illustrate your talents, Bars with Trap. It's a new show that came out. It's really highlighting artists. For all artists in communities that want to highlight and illustrate the talent in that community, for my city cipher on the So Rich TV YouTube channel. Tap in. Fresh Out has blessed us. I'm gonna close it on this note. This is the Fresh Out East Coast chapter, but what it is it's enabling people to not only tell their story, but to take a platform and to take their talents to create soul food, something out of nothing, right? And as I heard you say in one of your prior interviews, the people who are closest to the problem
are also the people that are closest to the solution. And I think this is a prime illustration of that right now as we connect. So on that note, fresh out, Professor Coffie, we out of here.
10 toes down, never ran, never fold. Talking to the bros like we gotta break the mold. Then we gon' shine like that glitter and that gold. I still be checking if they following. DM cool, but I'm pulling up and hollering. Different cloth, why you think she pulling up and hollering? We had a long night, now she going back to modeling. Tryna make it out, watching everything I spend. Know that you could lose your life every time you bend. Just because he throw it up, that don't mean that he your friend. Back like I never left, fresh about that 10. Long days, cold nights, stuck up in the pen. He a rat, if he told once, he'd do it again. Shorty said she love you, shorty know how to pretend. She just tryna survive, you and me.